Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're heading into a pretty intense world, one where humans and dragons bond to become these elite protectors.
That's right. Our listener, the learner, sent over a really fascinating mix of materials, personal stories, official records, even some folklore.
Yeah, a lot to unpack. So our mission today is to get a clearer picture of this Dragon Rider society, especially through the eyes of this young woman, Violet Sorrengail, who gets thrown into it all unexpectedly.
Exactly. We've got bits from her perspective in Fourth Wing, but also things like Major Offender's Guide, the official Dragon Riders Codex, even historical stuff like Navarre and unedited history, plus death rolls, treaties, and these fables of the Baron.
Gives us a lot of angles.
It really does.
Yeah.
Personal, official, historical, even mythical. Should give us a pretty layered understanding.
Okay, so let's dive in. Violet, she was all set for the Scribe Quadrant, right?
Yep.
The academic life.
Yep, that was the plan. Quiet, scholarly.
And then her mother, who's this high-ranking general, basically forces her into the Writers' Quadrant on conscription day.
Yeah, a complete redirect. And it immediately tells you something about the pecking order, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. Writers are clearly top dog. Scribes, not so much.
And the dragons, well, they help enforce that. The line about them roasting people for fun, maybe a bit hyperbolic, but it paints a picture.
A pretty intimidating one. It suggests this power structure is built on, well, fear as much as anything.
I think so. It likely shapes everything. Opportunities, value, how people are treated. It's baked into the system.
And her own sister, Mira, is dead set against it. She points out Violet's, physical weaknesses, the danger.
Right. Mira's terrified for her. She knows the score. She mentions Violet's smaller size, past injuries, basically saying she's not built for this.
It really hammers home the high mortality rate she mentions.
Absolutely. Mira's not just being overprotective, she's reflecting the brutal truth of the Writers' Quadrant. Survival of the fittest, quite literally.
But the mother pushes back. Says Violet did well on speed and agility tests.
Yeah, hints at some hidden potential, or maybe just denial. Plus that line, all Sorrengails do just fine, like it's destiny or duty.
There's that strange moment, too, where the mother seems conflicted. Mostly cold, all duty, but then a flicker of something else.
That whisper. So much like your father. It's intriguing, hints at a whole backstory there, doesn't it? Makes you wonder about the father, about the mother's own past.
And then she hits Violet with that choice. Are you going to die a scribe or live as a writer?
Which isn't really a choice, is it? It's pressure. Pure pressure. Framing the writer path as the only one that matters.
It really puts Violet in an impossible position. What's driving the mother? Duty, belief, something else entirely.
Hard to say from just this, but it's complex. That mix of cold command and that brief moment of tenderness, it's powerful.
So Violet gets to the Writers' Quadrant, and bam, danger right away. This parapet crossing.
Oh yeah, that high, narrow bridge, windy, exposed. It feels like the first test, deliberate.
Designed to weed people out immediately.
Exactly, and it works. Someone falls, Dylan, right at the start.
Sets the tone.
Absolutely. Instant consequence. A visceral lesson.
Yeah.
This place is lethal. Misstep, you're gone.
And it's mentioned that everyone else wants to be there. They're volunteers. Except Violet.
Which tells you a lot about the mindset, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to be a certain kind of person to choose this willingly, knowing the risks.
And the risks don't stop at the door. Violet notes what? Half of us won't be around come threshing?
Yeah, the attrition rate is insane. Mira even warns her not to make friends.
Wow. What does that do to you psychologically? Constant threat, don't get attached?
It must breed a kind of hypervigilance, and maybe detachment, or maybe incredibly intense bonds, but ones you hold loosely. Emotional shields up, definitely. Vulnerability is probably seen as fatal.
And the training itself sounds horrific, sparring with actual blades.
Yep. Hand-to-hand combat that leads to real injuries, like Violet dislocating her shoulder early on. It's not practice, it's brutal conditioning.
These challenges sounds like cadets fighting each other, potentially to the death.
Pretty much. Violet mentions just wanting someone to stop killing me. It's about survival, weeding out anyone who can't handle lethal force or lacks the instinct.
Then there's the gauntlet, another deadly obstacle course.
Right, another cadet dies there, Calvin Atwater. It just reinforces that survival is this constant day-to-day struggle. No safety net. Progress doesn't mean safety.
It's relentless.
Truly shapes their whole worldview, I imagine. Life and death become very immediate concepts.
Okay, so amidst all this, relationships start forming. Dean Ados, her old friend, tries to look out for her.
Yeah, he's a second year, her squad leader eventually. Protective, concerned. That makes sense, given their history.
But then there's Xaden Riorson,
Yeah.
wing leader. And the hostility is just, wow.
Palpable, isn't it? And you see why his father led a rebellion, and Violet's mother was involved in crushing it, executing the leaders.
So Violet represents everything he hates.
Exactly. That cold, unadulterated hatred isn't just personal dislike. It's deeply political, historical, rooted in massive grievance. Every interaction is loaded because of that past.
Dane is protective, Xaden is hostile. What a contrast.
Puts Violet right in the middle, doesn't it? Navigating personal ties alongside these huge political fractures.
And other people too. Rian becomes a friend, an ally.
Which seems crucial, having someone supportive in that environment.
Then the Imogen starts out hostile, but becomes a training partner. Reluctantly.
Yeah, apparently on orders. Shows
Yep.
how complex alliances can be. Maybe respect grows, or maybe it's just strategic.
And the general squad vibe sounds competitive, hostile even. Jack Barlow openly threatening her.
It's a pressure cooker. All these personal rivalries and threats layered on top of the official dangers. Reflects the bigger power struggles, probably.
And then, of course, the dragons. Bonding at threshing is the key. Fail, you're out, or you repeat.
It's the defining moment. And these aren't just mounts. They're intelligent, telepathic beings, personalities.
So the bond,
Yeah.
it's more than just rider and steed.
Oh, much more. It sounds fundamental, a deep connection that defines the rider, gives them power, maybe even changes them. A unique kind of partnership.
And Violet. She doesn't bond with one, she bonds with two.
Which is just unheard of, completely breaks the mold. Tarn, this massive, powerful black dragon.
And Andarna, a young golden one. Considered too young to bond.
Right. So this is unprecedented. It must send shockwaves through the whole system. What does it even mean?
Massive attention, for sure. Good and bad.
Definitely. It makes her incredibly powerful, potentially, but also incredibly visible, a target. And Tan being described as possessive, that bond sounds intense. Overwhelming, maybe.
Raises all sorts of questions about how bonding even works. Were the old assumptions wrong?
Could be. It certainly throws a wrench in the works. And Andarna's youth adds another layer of mystery. Untapped potential.
Okay, alongside this, we get these threads of political stuff. That past rebellion, Xaden's father.
Then Riorson, yeah.
Yeah.
Executed, property confiscated.
And the kids of the rebels, the marked ones like Xaden, they carry that resentment.
Absolutely. It's a lingering wound, a deep fault line in their society. They likely face discrimination, mistrust. And Violet, being her mother's daughter, she's automatically part of that conflict.
Makes her a lightning rod for that anger.
For sure. It fuels the tension between her and Xaden, and probably others too. It's history that's very much alive.
Then there are these whispers. The protective wards around Navarre are failing.
Uh-huh. Hints of external threats growing stronger. The mother even says something like, "It's more important than ever that you're ready for what's beyond our borders."
And talk of Venin, these dark magic users.
Yeah, supposedly kept out by the wards. Some treat it like folklore, the fables of the Baron and all that, but the failing wards make it sound potentially real.
What does that belief, even if it's just folklore for some, tell us?
It reflects underlying fears, doesn't it? Fear of the unknown, of threats they can't easily fight. If the wards are truly weakening, those fears become much more concrete. Could create real paranoia.
Plus secret missions, and flying off somewhere.
Suggests the leadership knows more than they're letting on. Hidden agendas, maybe? Trying to handle threats quietly?
And then actual griffins showing up as enemies. And wyvern. Weren't they supposed to be myths?
That's what the sources suggest. Creatures from fables, fighting alongside griffins, that really ups the ante, suggests the threat is maybe bigger, stranger than they thought. Navarre might be facing dangers it's not prepared for.
So multiple fronts. Internal divisions, external threats, maybe even mythical ones turning real.
It paints a picture of a kingdom under serious pressure, unstable.
And through all this, Violet is changing. She starts out seen as weak, fragile,
Totally unprepared physically.
but she survives. Uses her brain, her wits, shows incredible resilience.
Yeah, her strength isn't brute force. It's intelligence, strategy, sheer determination. It shows remarkable adaptability. She's learning fast under impossible circumstances. Huge potential there.
And then the signet appears. Lightning.
A seriously powerful ability. Initially uncontrollable, dangerous even to herself.
But she learns to channel it,
Yeah.
with help from her dragons.
Seems so. Professor Carr helps too, learning to draw power from Tarn and Andarna. That combination dual bond plus lightning makes her exceptionally powerful.
Which, again, makes her important, but also a target.
Absolutely. Such power doesn't go unnoticed, especially with conflicts brewing. How she learns to wield it, control it, that's going to be critical.
And a relationship with Xaden.
Hmm.
Talk about complicated.
Right. Starts with that deep hostility. The family history is a huge wall between them.
But then
Yeah.
attraction,
Yeah.
dependence almost.
It evolves, yeah, into this intense, confusing mix. Attraction, definitely, but still massive mistrust. And their dragons being bonded probably fuels that connection too.
So it's this push and pull, danger and potential all wrapped up together.
Very much so. Can they overcome the history, build trust? That connection could be a huge strength or a fatal weakness. It's a knife's edge.
Okay, and one last major thread.
Hmm.
This idea that the history they're taught might not be the whole story.
Yeah, hints that the official records at Basgiath might be edited, sanitized, especially about the rebellion, maybe about these external threats like the Vinin.
It's like that quote, one generation to change the text, the next grows, and the lie becomes history.
Chilling, isn't it? Suggests that folklore, the old stories, might actually hold more truth than the official histories. And scribes, ironically the path Violet was supposed to take, might be complicit in shaping that narrative.
Raises huge questions about truth and power in Navarre, who controls the story.
And what are they hiding? It suggests a deliberate manipulation of the past to maintain control in the present. Makes you wonder what else is built on lies.
So for you, the learner, let's try and pull this together. Violet gets thrown into this incredibly brutal system of the Writer's Quadrant. Deadly training, constant danger, complex politics simmering under the surface.
And she's not just surviving, she's becoming something unexpected. This dual dragon bond, the lightning signet, it makes her uniquely powerful, a key player, whether she wants to be or not, but also puts a huge target on her back.
Right. And all this is happening against a backdrop of failing wards, whispers of ancient enemies like Vinin returning, maybe mythical creatures becoming real, and the strong suggestion that the history everyone believes might be a carefully constructed lie.
Exactly. Her personal journey really throws the whole society into sharp relief. Its strengths, its brutal flaws, its secrets. Her resilience is amazing, but the world she's navigating is teetering on the brink.
Which leaves us, and you, the learner, with a final thought to chew on. If the official history is suspect, if folklore holds forgotten truths, what other fundamental realities of this world might be hidden? What other lies underpin this society?
And maybe more importantly, how is Violet, with her unique bonds, her growing power, and her position caught between past conflicts and future wars, how is she going to change things? Her existence seems poised to unravel secrets and maybe reshape the future of Navarre itself. We've really only just begun to see the currents running beneath the surface here.